Question 1. From a practical standpoint, Mr. Alvarez notices intermittent session drops on a high availability hot NetScaler pair during failover testing. The secondary appliance becomes primary, but half the TCP sessions are lost. What should he verify first? A. That the TCP session table synchronization is enabled between home nodes. B. That the secondary appliance has a higher priority number than the primary. C. That both appliances use the same firmware build. D. That the floating VIP addresses are assigned manually to both appliances. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. ECP session table synchronization ensures established sessions survive failover. Without it, clients must re-establish connections, causing drops. Option B relates to failover preference, not session persistence. Option C is important for host stability but doesn't directly prevent dropped sessions mid-failover. Option D is incorrect because VIPs are shared dynamically in HA, not manually assigned to both appliances. Question 2. In light of recent developments, a company migrates to NetScaler VPX in a cloud environment. Performance is significantly below expectations, despite identical configuration from the hardware appliance. Which adjustment is most likely to address the issue? A. Enabling jumbo frames on all interfaces. B. Increasing the allocated CPU and memory resources in the hypervisor. C. Using UNIOR or PCI pass-through for network interfaces. D. Disabling VLAN tagging on all interfaces. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. NIOR or PCI pass-through bypasses virtual NIC bottlenecks, allowing near hardware performance. Option A may help large packet throughput but not the core bottleneck in virtualized I/O. Option B might help if CU memory is the issue, but network I/O is usually the primary bottleneck in VEX under high load. Option D would break VLAN-based segmentation, not improve performance. Question 3. Considering the evidence is Chen configured GLB between two data centers, users report connections are not balancing geographically as intended. Which misconfiguration could cause this? A. Missing persistence configuration of GLB virtual servers. B. Incorrectly configured GLB Citrix exchange. C. Mismatched persistence timeouts between Airbus servers. D. Disabling SMP on WAD GLB Sci. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. GLB relies on metrics exchange between sites for intelligent DNS responses. Without proper exchange, location-based balancing fails. Option A relates to user session stickiness, not geographic selection. Option C is relevant for local LB at GLB routing logic. Option D affects monitoring but GLB site-to-site metrics exchange. Question 4. When evaluating the merits of using NetScaler's link aggregation (LA) feature, which statement best reflects its primary operational benefit? A. It increases total available throughput and provides interface-level redundancy. B. It ensures all traffic is load-balanced evenly without session hashing. C. It allows multiple appliances to share single IP address across interfaces. D. It eliminates the need for VLAN configuration on physical interfaces. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. LA combines multiple physical links into one logical link for increased bandwidth and redundancy. Option B is incorrect because hashing methods still determine distribution. Option C describes Javier behavior, not LA. Option D is false. VLAN tagging may still be required even with LA. Question 5. The fundamental question is, during SSL floating configuration, why might a backend server still need its own SSL certificate? A. When end-to-end encryption is required from client to backend server. B. When SSL session persistence is used. C. Cheeto is enabled on the NetScaler. D. When the backend server uses SNIP for routing. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. End-to-end encryption requires the NetScaler to re-encrypt traffic before sending to the backend, meaning the backend must have its own certificate. Option B involves persistence but doesn't require backend SSL unless encryption is required. Option C is irrelevant to backend encryption. Option D is unrelated to SSL needs. Question 6. In an effort to troubleshoot a failed Citrix gateway login, Istacon runs nstrace and notices no LDAP requests are sent to the authentication server. Which cause is most plausible? A. LDAP server IP is missing from the NetScaler's ACL whitelist. B. Authentication policy is not bound to the gateway virtual server. C. The Citrix gateway is not licensed for A. D. LDAP group extraction is disabled in the server profile. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. If the authentication policy is not bound to the gateway vServer, no authentication attempt is initiated, hence no LDAP traffic. Option A can block traffic, but trace would still show attempts. Option C is incorrect because gateway licensing covers EAR features by default. Option D affects group-based authorization, not the initial authentication flow. Question 7. During the process of upgrading firmware, is Roberts encounters an error stating a build version mismatch in hardware. What should be a first corrective action? A. Upgrade the secondary appliance to match the primary's firmware before syncing. B. Force HAR sync from primary to secondary despite mismatch. C. Disable HAR. Upgrade each unit, then re-enable HAR. D. Restart both appliances to clear the mismatch. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. The safe method is disabling HAR, upgrading each appliance individually and re-enabling HAR to avoid instability. Option A is risky because syncing mismatched firmware may cause corruption. Option B could break configurations. Option D won't resolve version mismatch. Question 8. With respect to monitoring, why is configuring custom monitors for backend services considered a best practice in NetScaler? A. It improves system log readability. B. It ensures health checks are application-specific rather than generic. C. It allows faster failover between services. D. It increases SSL throughput to the backend. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Custom monitors ensure the NetScaler validates application responsiveness, not just poor availability. Option A is unrelated. Option C may occur indirectly but is not the main benefit. Option D is unrelated to monitoring. Question 9. By evaluating the behavior of ACLs in NetScaler, what would happen if an explicit deny ACL is configured after a permit ACL for the same traffic? A. Traffic will be permitted because ACLs are processed in top-down order. B. Traffic will be denied because deny takes precedence regardless of order. C. Traffic will be permitted only if bound to a higher priority policy label. D. Traffic will be denied only if the deny ACL has a lower priority number. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. ACLs in NetScaler are processed top-down. The first match determines the action. If permit appears first, traffic passes even if the deny exists later. Option B. It confuses precedence rules with firewall concepts. Option C. Relates to policy binding, not ACL matching. Option D. Misstates how ACL priority numbers function. Question 10. Taking into account routing considerations, why might a NetScaler appliance ignore a static route? A. The next hop IP is not reachable from any SNP. B. The route is configured with an administrative distance of 0. C. The appliance is running in Layer 2 mode. D. The route is bound to the wrong VLAN. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. If the route is bound to a VLAN not associated with the correct interface SNP, the NetScaler cannot use it. Option A might also cause route failure, but unreachable next hop triggers issues, not route ignore. Option B is valid in some systems, but NetScaler accepts distance 0. Option C is irrelevant because static routes still apply in L mode. Question 11. When analyzing a sudden spike in CPU usage on a NetScaler, Istavegan notices the spike coincides with an increase in SSL traffic. Which optimization should he consider first? A. Implementing SSL session reuse. B. Offloading SSL entirely to backend servers. C. Upgrading to larger RSA key sizes. D. Disabling SSL persistence. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. SSL session reuse reduces handshake overhead, lowering CPU use during high SSL load. Option B shifts the load to backends but doesn't solve NetScaler optimization. Option C would worsen CPU load. Option D may affect session stickiness but not CPU-heavy handshakes. Question 12. Under the assumption that A configuration shows all sites as down, what's the most likely reason? A. Mismatched persistence between GPU servers. B. Monitoring IP addresses are not reachable via SNP. C. GLB serviced group bindings are incomplete. D. The LDNS per address is misconfigured on the client. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. If monitoring IPs aren't reachable from the SNP, health checks fail, marking all sites down. Option A relates to stickiness, not availability. Option C could cause partial failures, but not all sites down. Option D affects DNS queries, but not GLB service health. Question 13. From multiple perspectives, why might a NetScaler send client requests to a down backend service? A. Persistence overrides monitor status for existing sessions. B. The backend was manually forced up. C. A misconfigured responder policy intercepts requests. D. VLAN tagging was disabled on the backend interface. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. A responder policy can intercept and forward traffic regardless of monitor status, making it seem the down server is still receiving requests. Option A only affects existing sessions, not new ones. Option B forces the state up, but the scenario implies unexpected behavior, not admin override. Option D is unrelated to service status. Question 14. Throughout the course of setting up link aggregation, is D'Souza sees uneven traffic distribution. Which adjustment is most relevant? A. Changing hashing algorithm to consider both source and destination IP. B. Assigning static IP to each physical interface. C. Enabling MAC address learning on all VLANs. D. Configuring LACPIN passive mode on all interfaces. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Hashing algorithm choice impacts flow distribution. Using both source and destination IP yields more even spread. Option B is irrelevant. Allow uses logical interface IPs. Option C is a basic switch setting, not a fix for imbalance. Option D may reduce negotiation success. Question 15. Examining the consequences of disabling hosync before making config changes, what's the primary risk? A. Config drift between appliances leading to failover issues. B. Immediate loss of persistent sessions. C. Blocking of SNP-based routes. D. Removal of all VIPs from secondary appliance. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Disabling hosync can cause config drift, meaning during failover the secondary may have outdated or missing settings. Option B affects failover but not due to sync setting alone. Option C is unrelated. Option D only happens if the VIPs were never configured on the secondary, not an inherent hosync risk. Question 16. The underlying principle of SSL flow with content switching is that A. Each content switching vServer must have its own SSL certificate. B. The SSL handshake happens only once between client and NetScaler. C. Backends must support all SSS ciphers the NetScaler uses. D. Load balancing vServers bypass SSL processing entirely. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. With SSL offload, the handshake is only between client and NetScaler. Traffic to backends and a BitGP or re-encrypted SSL. Option A is incorrect. Multiple CISA servers can share certificates. Option C only applies for SSL bridging. Option D misstates behavior. The B servers handle decrypted traffic. Question 17. While examining packet traces, is Ortega finds SYN packets dropped before reaching the backend. ACLs permit the traffic, but routing seems correct. Why else should she check? A. Surge queue settings on the vServer. B. Connection multiplexing status. C. MAC-based forwarding configuration. D. IP-based server state enforcement. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. IP-based server state enforcement may drop packets that don't align with expected TCP state even if ACLs permit them. Option A affects queuing, not packet drops. Option B and C are unrelated to SYN drops in this context. Question 18. In a modern context of IP adoption, which NetScaler configuration is critical for dual stack environments? A. Configuring separate monitors for IP and IP services. B. Assigning both IP and IP addresses to the same SNP. C. Using NAT for all IPv traffic. D. Enabling jumbo frames for IPv interfaces. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. IPv services require independent monitoring to ensure availability across both stacks. Option B isn't supported. Separate SNPs are required. Option C is only needed if translating IPv to IPv. Option D is unrelated to dual stack operability. Question 19. As a result of improper VLAN tagging, a NetScaler fails to reach certain subnets. Which misstep is most plausible? A. The VLAN is bound only to a channel, not to the interface. B. The VLAN is missing from the trunk port on the switch. C. The VLAN was assigned to the NSIP instead of SNP. D. The VLAN ID is higher than 4095. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. If the switch trunk port doesn't allow the VLAN, tagged frames are dropped, blocking subnet reachability. Option A can cause issues, but the most common cause is missing switch trunk VLAN membership. Option C is irrelevant to reachability in most cases. Option D is invalid as VLAN IDs max at 4094. Question 20. Given the circumstances, Istamorant needs to ensure that specific HTTP requests are redirected to HEO without affecting API endpoints. Which feature should he use? A. SSL redirect built into EBU server. B. Global write policy with advanced expressions. C. Responder policy bound to specific vservs. EHTTP profile with secure redirect enabled. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Responder policies offer precise control over conditions enabling selective HE to HTTPS redirects. Option A is all or nothing. Option B can work but is better suited for content manipulation. Option D affects connection level behavior without fine-grained filtering. Question 21. By comparing NetScaler MPX and VPX appliances, which statement about packet processing is most accurate? A. MPX models can leverage hardware SSL acceleration, improving throughput. B. VX models always outperform MPX due to hypervisor optimizations. C. MPX and VPX have identical packet processing pipelines. D. VPX appliances cannot support a SSL offloading. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. MPX hardware includes SSL chips for offloading, enabling better performance under heavy SSL workloads. Option B is false. Hypervisor overhead can reduce VX performance. Option C ignores hardware acceleration differences. Option D is incorrect because VPX supports SSL offload in software. Question 22. The effectiveness of using persistence in a load balancing configuration largely depends on A. The type of backend service monitors in use. B. The algorithm chosen for initial connection distribution. C. The session identification method aligned with application behavior. D. The number of SNPs configured on the appliance. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Matching persistence type to application behavior ensures user sessions remain bound to the same server. Option A ensures availability, not persistence logic. Option B distributes initial requests but doesn't sustain persistence. Option D relates to routing, not persistence. Question 23. While it is true that firmware upgrades add features, what's the biggest risk of skipping intermediate builds when upgrading? A. Loss of configuration compatibility or corruption. B. Automatic deletion of all SSL keys. C. Inability to bind VLANs to interfaces. D. Permanent loss of hard pairing. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Skipping required upgrade paths can cause configuration incompatibility or corruption. Option B is not a normal risk. Option C and D could occur from misconfigurations but aren't inherent to skipping builds. Question 24. From a historical standpoint, Harris notices asymmetric routing between two data centers with GLB active. Which adjustment is most likely to help? A. Enabling spillover persistence on both sites. B. Configuring source IP persistence in GLB settings. C. Changing monitor intervals to match on both sites. D. Assigning the same public IP range to both sites. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Source IP persistence ensures clients consistently resolve to the same site, reducing asymmetric routing issues. Option A relates to load thresholds, not routing symmetry. Option C affects monitoring consistency but not routing path. Option D would cause IP conflicts. Question 25. In response to reports of backend server overload, is considers enabling connection multiplexing. What is the main advantage? A. It reduces the number of ECP connections between NetScaler and backend servers. B. It enforces strict one-to-one client-to-server session mapping. C. It guarantees zero packet loss in high traffic. D. It encrypts all backend connections automatically. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Connection multiplexing consolidates multiple client sessions into fewer backend TCP connections, reducing server load. Option B is the opposite of multiplexing. Option C is unrealistic. Option D depends on SSL configuration, not multiplexing. Question 26. The question remains whether enabling surge protection queue can impact client perception. Which is correct? A. It drops excess client connections without queuing. B. It holds requests when backend services are saturated, avoiding rejection. C. It always increases latency for all requests. D. It bypasses load balancing when active. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Surge queues temporarily hold incoming requests if backends are saturated, improving user experience by avoiding immediate rejections. Option A is incorrect. The purpose is to avoid drops. Option C applies only to queued requests, not all traffic. Option D is unrelated. Question 27. Despite the fact that a VIEP is bound to a load balancing, vServo remains unreachable. Which cause is most plausible? A. The SNP cannot route to the client subnet. B. The backend servers are not bound to the same VLAN. C. The NSIP is not configured for management access. D. The vServo is using different persistence method. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. If the SNP lacks a valid route to the client, responses cannot return, making the VIEP appear unreachable. Option B affects backend reachability, not client access to VIEP. Option C relates to management, not data traffic. Option D wouldn't block initial connections. Question 20. In the absence of proper monitor configuration, what might happen in load balancing? A. Traffic continues to be sent to failed services. B. The appliance automatically reverts to round-robin algorithm. C. All services are marked down by default. D. The NetScaler disables SNP until monitors are added. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Without monitors, services default to upstate, causing traffic to go to failed servers. Option B is unrelated. Option C is false. Default is up. Option D is unrelated to monitoring. Question 29. With the advent of IP/NAT features, what does NAT on NetScaler allow? A. IP clients to access IP-only servers. B. IP clients to access IP-only servers. C. Dual stack clients to choose protocol dynamically. D. Backend servers to bypass GLB decisions. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. NAT enables IP-only clients to reach IP resources by translating addresses. Option A describes NAT. Option C depends on DNS and routing, not NAT. Option D is unrelated to translation. Question 30. The core principles of AA integration dictate that A. All authentication policies must be globally bound. B. Authorization can occur without authentication. C. Auditing policies log access events for compliance. D. LDAP is the only supported authentication method. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Auditing policies track and log access events supporting compliance and security monitoring. Option A is false. Policies can be bound at vServer or globally. Option B violates standard hour flow. Option D is incorrect. Multiple authentication methods are supported.